In the heart of winter, Jack Frost was soaring through the skies, the cold wind lifting him higher and higher above the snow-capped mountains. He had just finished a round of creating frost patterns on window panes and dusting the land with a fresh layer of snow when he felt a strange pull, like something was calling to him. He looked to the north, where the winds seemed to whisper his name. It wasn't uncommon for him to hear the whispers of nature, but this time was different. It was urgent, almost desperate. Curious, Jack followed the call. He flew swiftly over frozen lakes and snowy forests until he reached a remote, icy cavern hidden deep within the northern mountains. At the entrance, he could feel an ancient power. Something old and magical was inside, and it had been waiting for him. As he stepped into the cavern, the air grew colder, even by his frosty standards. Icicles dangled like sharp teeth from the ceiling, and the walls glittered with frost. In the center of the cavern, resting on a pedestal made of solid ice, was a crystal. No ordinary crystal. It pulsed with a soft blue light and radiated pure, chilling energy. Jack knew instantly what it was: the eternal winter crystal, an artifact said to control the balance of winter itself. But as Jack approached, the ground beneath him trembled. Out of the shadows emerged a figure cloaked in darkness. It was an ancient ice spirit, one long forgotten by the world, named Glacius. His skin was as pale as snow, and his eyes were as cold as the deepest winter night. "Jack Frost," Glacius hissed, his voice echoing off the icy walls. "You dare to enter my domain?" Jack stood his ground, his staff glowing with icy power. "I don't know who you are, but I was called here. This crystal, it doesn't belong to anyone. It belongs to winter itself." Glacius snarled. "This crystal was mine, and it will be mine again. With its power, I will plunge the world into an eternal winter, one where no warmth or light will ever reach. The world will bow to me, and you, the so-called guardian of fun, will be nothing but a forgotten memory." Jack tightened his grip on his staff. "I won't let that happen." Without warning, Glacius lunged at Jack, sending a barrage of ice spikes hurtling through the air. Jack dodged, leaping into action. The cavern erupted into a fierce battle of ice and frost, with Jack using his agility and control over winter to counter Glacius's raw power. The ground shook as glaciers formed and shattered under the force of their attacks. But Jack was determined. He knew that the eternal winter crystal could not fall into the wrong hands. He had to protect the balance of the seasons. With a swift motion, Jack summoned a whirlwind of icy winds, sending Glacius stumbling back. He dashed toward the crystal, knowing it was the key to ending this battle. But just as he reached out for it, Glacius struck again, encasing Jack in a block of ice. For a moment, everything was silent. Jack was frozen in place, trapped. Glacius grinned, thinking he had won. But then, from within the ice, a soft blue glow began to shine. Jack's heart was strong, and the crystal had chosen him. It responded to his pure intentions, to his desire to protect winter, not to control it. The ice around him cracked and shattered as Jack broke free, his entire body now glowing with the power of the eternal winter crystal. With a final surge of energy, Jack raised his staff and released a wave of frosty magic that enveloped Glacius. The ancient spirit let out a howl as he was encased in ice, trapped once more, unable to harm the world again. The cavern grew still, the battle over. Jack approached the crystal once more, this time with reverence. He understood now that the crystal wasn't meant to be wielded, but to be safeguarded. Its power wasn't for domination, but for balance. He gently placed his hand on it, and the light dimmed, its energy settling into a peaceful hum. As Jack exited the cavern, the sun was beginning to rise, casting a golden glow over the snow-covered land. He smiled, feeling the warmth of the sun even in the midst of winter. The world was safe and balance had been restored. Jack flew off into the sky, knowing that his work was never done, but content that, for now, peace had been won. The eternal winter crystal remained hidden, its power secure, and Jack Frost continued his adventures, ready for whatever the world had in store for him next. And as he soared across the sky, he couldn't help but feel a sense of joy, knowing that he was not just the guardian of fun, but a protector of winter itself.